All right, well, here goes something, I guess. So what I've been doing is I've been cleaning out the tank. This is actually a used tank that I picked up off eBay. The other one it's so filled with rust, it's ridiculous. And there's just no way I was gonna waste my time cleaning it out. This one is actually in really good condition. I was just kind of getting the rest of just kind of what's been sitting in there. I used a little bit of white vinegar, threw that in here a little bit, tossed it around, and it really kind of cleaned it up pretty good. And now I just got a little bit of gasoline in there, kind of get the rest of what that loosened up out. And then I'm gonna take off the petcock, clean that up, and hopefully get it back on the bike. Now actually, before I'm gonna get it on the bike, I'm gonna change the main jet, because I ended up getting this. Got a DG exhaust. Again, got it off eBay, used. Pretty good shape. You know, I think I paid like 120 bucks for it. So, you know, why not? The stock one's got some pinholes in it. And I figured could really put a little performance into this little 250. The only thing is they kind of booger welded to make it one piece. It does look like it's gonna fit. I don't think it's gonna leak. I mean, worst case, if it starts leaking, I'll clean that up and try and redo it. So we're gonna throw this on, change a jet, get this together, and hopefully start kicking her over, getting her fired up. All right, so I did want to show you the old fuel tank. So you can see, one difference is that this one's red, the other one is black. But all in all, they're all the same. Petcock came out of here. The pre-filter for the petcock is actually stuck in there. Can't get it out. But I'm gonna hold this upside down and shake out what would be floating in there. I did not put this in there. This is all rusted inside of this fuel tank. So when the tank sits with nothing in it, you know, it smells so bad too. So here's the pre-filter. Oh God, it smells so bad. So it's old dry varnish along with rust. So the tank just deteriorated from the inside out. I mean, you look at the outside, you're like, oh, looks pretty good. I mean, look at the rust dust. I mean, this is just how bad it is. So, if only I could share the smell. Really, as you can see, when motorcycles, cars, when they sit, they just deteriorate and die. Time is one of the worst things, especially if you're not maintaining them. And aside from time, you got moisture, dirt. So always wash your toys, man, and keep up with the maintenance. And you can prevent something like this from happening. So take care of your stuff. All right, so we got the gas tank clean. Before I put everything on to try and get this started, I do want to change the jet. I did already check these jets out. This is the one that came off eBay. So it has a 125 in it and a 38 Pilot. I'm gonna keep the 38 Pilot, but we're gonna go with a 130 jet. I'm gonna leave the needle valve. I'm gonna leave that's at mid mark. That should be okay, because I don't think the exhaust in this intake is gonna make too much. The engine's rather stock, so that should be enough. I just wanna go a little bit fatter on the main. Let's do it. Flip the bowl, knock on it for good luck. I'm gonna loosen the idle adjuster. That's a little bit out of my way. So that is the jet we're going to change. That is the main jet. And it's at 125. We're going to take her up to a 130. So one thing I do is take a little bit of the Mechanics Pine Saw, a little squirt. Just kind of clean up if there's any little piece of dirt in there. So that's our clean one. So these do not have to be very tight. You just want them snug. Try not to drop them. This is why I buy them usually in pairs. So it's going to make it a little bit fatter when we're at 3/4 of throttle, full throttle. I like a little more meat on the bone up at the top end. Being that's 250. We're gonna be up on that top end a little bit more. And then just put her back together. I believe the insides have been freshened up. The top end's been freshened up by a friend of ours who kind of took the bike for a little bit. So I'm assuming that's all put back together right. I mean, even the clutch condition wasn't that bad, but you know, I was more afraid that everything was stuck and jammed up. That's why I really wanted to pull that apart. And I figured if I'm going to pull apart, clutches are only 45 bucks for this quad. So my bowls tight. My bowls are tight. Tighten down our idle adjustment. So now we're at a 38 Pilot, a 130 main jet. So the vent tubes, you know, a little overflow, stuff like that. Probably because it's so old. I'm gonna do a little bit of grease on her. I'm constantly fighting this. Just putting a little bit of grease at the end of the carb. Making sure it's not going to suck any of it in, but just help slide her on. See? What a difference. A little bit of lube goes a long way. Make sure your carb is straight. I mean, even though it's got that groove on the intake, but make sure it's straight. It's a big thing we had to pay attention to when we were kart racing. Tubage. It's a tubage. I mean, this is definitely a little stiff, but I don't see any cracks or anything in it, so it should be fine. If you ever wondered, like, you know, how tight do I make these? Well, you want to make them tight enough where they seal, where you got a good seal, and you don't really want it to fall off. You got to figure what this quad's going to be bouncing around on, and you just really want it to stay in place, not pulling in extra air, unfiltered air. So basically, when I feel the screw start to give me some resistance, go about a 1/4 turn. That's usually good with me. And then just make sure we got a full seat around. It does look good. Here looks good. Just forgot about our Honda S. Honda designed this so you can be extra fast. Because I mean S, like super sport mode. On these bikes, you don't have to pay the 10 bucks for this little tube, but you know, it fits right with the tank and everything like that. You just gotta deal with the stupid clamps. Stupid S tube. Stupid super sport tube. Got it. So that little lip there in the tank goes on the frame. We got our 2 bolts. Make sure the hose isn't pinched. None of your vent tubes are pinched. Everything looks the way it should. Took these off the old tank. Little spacer washers. Get them in place. You just slide in. Get these bolts in. I did put a little bit of anti-seize on them, because in case we ever got to change a jet, this is what we got to do again. Another bolt doesn't have to be over tightened, so I like to get snug, about a 1/4 turn. I'm gonna change out this exhaust. Why not throw this one I got here? Like I said, this one has some pinholes in it, and You know, I'm not 100% sure if this one's not gonna leak, but it's at least gonna give a little more performance. Definitely a little better sound. We'll leave that one attached while we get off the header. Take off apparently it's a custom bolts here. Who thought so? On most Japanese ATVs, everything's metric. But when you have your standard thinking mechanic, and he uses standard measurements for bolts. But we're going to change that up. Hey, it's off. So here are the two exhausts side by side. All right, we got our stock 1987, 35 years of exhaust running through it. And then I have a DG that I picked up used off of eBay. You know, these are pretty good exhausts, sell for about 400 bucks. I did get this for about 130 with ship. So just to kind of see the difference. You know, this one has a longer header tube compared to here. We got a nice curve as soon as we come out. And then it's pretty sharp. It gets really thin here. So this pipe is fatter than the stock one. We have our mounts for our heat shield, so you don't burn you with the leg. But you can really see how when the pipe keeps going, we're thin, then we get a little fat at this connection, but then we get another hard curve. Where here we're flowing a little easier into the muffler side of the exhaust. So it's going to breathe. It's going to breathe easier, and it's going to get them exhaust gases out. The funny thing is that while I'm sitting here telling you about this, all I smell is that old varnish gas that has just vented its way through this exhaust. I mean, it is just, it's gross. Instead of reusing the mismatched bolts that were holding the heat shield on, I'm actually going to use these Allen heads to sit inside of these spacers. They're flush. Goes in just like that. You can see how it sits nice and flush. These are just some hardware off of, you know, we used to race go-karts. You're going to take your little exhaust ring that's going to push in. So go on the pipe, hold the pipe, and then it squeezes in with the bolts. Just do what I want you to do. Whenever you're working on something mechanical, it always seems that, you know, you have an idea, a plan, and they always seem to have a different one. All right, let's add a little bit of gas. Let's see if she'll start. So we have fuel going in. Just want to make sure we're above, like reserve, we'll say. Now this bike hasn't ran, I don't even know, maybe close to 10 years. We got gas. Carburetor's hooked up. We'll turn on the fuel. Start letting it fill that bowl, hopefully. Fresh spark plug, air filter, exhaust is on. All right, well, here goes something, I guess. Key on, run switch on. We'll turn off the lights. We don't need them to fight us. We're in neutral. Here we go. Still not sure how much the bowl's filled up yet. So there we have it. She fired up after about 2, almost 3 kicks. I mean, right into it. This bike really has been sitting, I really honestly want to say, about 10 years. But there we go, man. You know, I mean, it just goes to show right there that these bikes are worth a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, a little bit of money, and they run. I mean, Honda did so good in the 80s with this. Our plan is now, I still got to do some carburetor tuning. You know, I mean, you can hear it. I mean, I was actually running with the choke on, so the fuel mixture screw is probably way off. I really appreciate you watching this video. I do plan to make some more. We're gonna tackle the front suspension on this. Then we gotta do the rear suspension. And then we're also gonna do a little bit of the body. I got some repairs to do on that. And then we're gonna get her out for a shakedown. So thanks for watching, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.